Welcome back to Artifact Insight. Let's look at this Egyptian limestone sculptor's model of a royal bust. So this is most likely a model of a royal bust, probably created by a sculptor as sort of a test run if they wanted to make something larger. Unfortunately, we aren't able to figure out which pharaoh this actually depicts, but we know that it comes from the Ptolemaic period, approximately 332 to 30 BCE. And that pretty much limits us to one of the Ptolemies. And yes, every pharaoh from this era was named Ptolemy. Now, while you see this pharaoh depicted in a very typical ancient Egyptian depiction with the Nemes headdress and then the cobra uraeus on the forehead, Ptolemaic kings were probably not dressing up as Egyptians for their daily lives. They were probably wearing something much more Hellenistic like togas, chitons, kind of those types of garb. Unless they were doing some sort of event for the Egyptian people where they had to be seen in public, maybe then they would wear something more Egyptian. Now, the thing with these sculptors that were hired by the royals, they would have to kind of know both options because there are still ways that an ancient Egyptian pharaoh or a Ptolemaic pharaoh would have to be depicted as more Egyptian. And that's usually in the building of ancient Egyptian temples in their name. So the artists kind of have to know both different ways and know all of the different characteristics for a more Hellenistic depiction as well as a more Egyptian depiction. There are two very similar pieces to this one found at the J. Paul Getty Museum in California and another in the Princeton University Art Museum in New Jersey. But there also has been one that has recently been found in Taposiris Magna, which looks really similar and is in some of the excavation photos. This piece was originally in the ownership of Charles Durkin Kelkcan, an antiquities dealer in New York City whose father was also an antiques dealer, but more in Asian and Near Eastern art. And we know that it was obviously part of his collection based on that sticker that has been left at the back of the piece that has an inventory number of 390. We know that it was then in the collection of Jack Josephson, who was an Egyptologist who worked for the Institute of Fine Arts at NYU. Now, this piece was estimated to go from between 8,000 to 12,000 British pounds, but it actually sold for 16,380 pounds.